Everybody tells you to just love yourself until you actually do. We have a very controversial, shocking Leo full moon coming in. You definitely don't want to miss this one. You don't want to miss the beginning of this video, okay? You just do not. You do not. So before you go skipping ahead, hang out, chill out. Your horoscope will be there at the end. It will be waiting for you. So just hang out with me for a bit because we got some shit to talk about. This is big. This full moon, I think, is going to be a breaking point for many, many people. I think it is a reminder of who we are on the inside, a path back to being our true, authentic selves, and a path back to what our heart truly, truly desires, the truth of our heart, the wisdom of our heart. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get into this Leo full moon video. This Leo full moon is bringing some curveballs with it, okay? It could bring in some shocking, kind of manic, controversial uncertainties. This is definitely a really big, dramatic full moon that can really, really shift things in your life or shift the direction of your life or shift certain situations in your life. Sometimes it may seem at first like this is not something that you want, but at the end, it actually may end up being liberating for you, okay? So let's talk about this Leo full moon, boo. Okay, so I am not editing this video very much because we were super late. I tried to film this one other time and the sound was completely jacked and it was not redeemable. So I'm having to film this again. Also, I have a new background. I hope you like it. I love it. It feels way more me, especially in time for this Leo full moon. A lot of you guys loved that I recorded my screen so you guys could see what I was talking about in my last video. So we're going to try to do that again as well. A full moon in the sign of Leo is a different kind of energy. This is not just your average full moon. A Leo full moon is a big deal. Why? Because the moon is in the sun's sign and we have the sun down here in Aquarius. And so basically the sun down here in Aquarius and Leo's opposite sign is ruling this full moon. So what is happening, like I talked about in my Aquarius new moon video, is the sun is in what we call detriment in Aquarius. It's been traveling through the sign of Aquarius and in the winter where the days are shorter, the light is not as strong here. The sun is not as strong here. This is kind of like the sun's death phase, right? It's been traveling through a dark tunnel and it's not really felt like itself. It's not really felt like its usual confident, badass, like vital, individual, self. It's not really been able to just be itself because it's had to really focus on the collective or the other people in some way with the sun traveling through the sign of Aquarius. So this time of year, when we have a Leo full moon, what's happening is that the moon is reflecting the sun's light back at it to remind it, hey, you are almost through this mother effing tunnel, Bill. You got this. Like, it is always darkest before the dawn. The Leo full moon is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, don't give up now. Don't let, all of this like social stuff or all of this stuff going on with other people, like completely, like don't lose yourself in it, right? Don't lose yourself in it. Remember who you are. Remember who you mother effing are, okay? And so the sun is getting kind of like a wink from the moon. Like the moon's looking back at the sun and kind of like winking and being like, look, I am reflecting your light. Like I am literally like, this is your light. This is your power. And I'm reflecting it back to you to remind you of who you are. Right? And that you're almost through this. Like, don't give up now. It's going to be okay. You got this, right? And so just as we could be kind of like at a breaking point, or just as we could be kind of like starting to feel unlike ourselves, or like we're kind of losing ourselves in something, the Leo full moon is here to say, nope, remember who you are. This is who you really are. Like, you are special. You are worthy. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Don't be afraid to be your authentic self or do what's true to your heart, Because Leo is about courage and confidence and your heart, your pride, your honor, your integrity, your vitality, your passion, right? Being your authentic self, being, playful, but also regal, and knowing that, like, yes, we are just like everybody else in a lot of ways, right? Like, there isn't anything special about us, but there also is. And when we can kind of hold those two polarities, we really end up embracing this Leo Aquarian axis. Like, that is the key to this Leo Aquarian axis, is like, by knowing who you are and knowing and being in your authentic truth, you stand out, right? By knowing who you are, Leo, you stand out and the right people come to you. You attract the right people. And with this full moon squaring Uranus, which we're going to get more to in a little bit, I don't want to go over it too much right now, but this is like, where have we been kind of like conforming to a situation in our lives or to other people in our lives? Where have we kind of lost ourselves and what's going on with everybody else, or, lost ourselves in some social situation or relationships or family or work or whatever. And we've been too afraid to like just be ourselves. We've been repressing who we really are. We've been repressing what's on our heart. We've been repressing our sense of passion and individuality and vitality. Like, where have we neglected to see that, yes, we can relate to other people, but we're also different. And we also have our own unique way of shining. There also is things that are special about us, innate talents that we have, innate gifts that we have, that we are a soul, that we are a divine being on this earth who transmits our own light. We don't need the validation of other people. We don't need everybody else to understand us. We don't need everybody to like us. We don't need everybody to even accept us for who we are. As long as we are who we are and we are true to ourselves, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's easy to care about what other people think, and it's easy to care about, whatever, but it's like, as long as you are being true to who you are, as long as you are in your own authenticity, like, that's what matters most. I saw that there's like a metaphysical kind of like study or something going around where love is no longer the highest vibration. It's actually authenticity. Okay, which is very, very Leo. Like, we shine the brightest, we feel the best, we feel the most like ourselves when we love ourselves. And I'm not talking about being conceited, okay? That's not love, that's fear, right? That's ego, that's like, actually insecurity. I'm talking about true love for yourself, because when we have true love for ourselves, we are able to share that, we're able to spread that. It is contagious. We attract the right people to us, right? It's like a huge lesson I've had to learn on doing YouTube over the years is that when I start trying to fit in, I lose my ability to stand out. I lose my authenticity. I lose who I really am, right? Like, I lose my it factor, right? Like, so when we are trying to fit into like what everybody else is doing, or what the trend is, or what we think is going to make us socially accepted in whatever area of life, then we are literally basically denying our it factor, or denying our own innate gifts, our own innate authenticity to stand out, and for validation, which is cheap, it's not lasting, and it's not fulfilling. Okay. And so this is so much what a Leo full moon is about. It's coming in to say, hey, boo, don't forget who you are on the inside. Has what you've been doing aligned with your authenticity? Has it aligned with your integrity? Has it aligned with your heart? Has it aligned with your truth, the truth of who you are, right? Has it aligned with your confidence, your courage, the way that you feel about yourself, your self-love, And so, yeah, like, we may have felt like a lack of energy or a lack of motivation, or not quite like ourselves, or we may have gotten tangled up in like what everybody else is doing or what everybody else is talking about, or, worrying about other people, or kind of like, trying to be somebody that we're not, or trying to fit in somewhere that we don't belong. Like, but I also think that this full moon, because this full moon, the sun and Mercury are just coming out of their cazimi around the time of this full moon in Aquarius. So I also think this full moon is also helping us integrate this axis of not just Leo, but also Aquarius, and these two different parts of our chart, where maybe we see, where maybe we've done the work to realign our lives, or the social aspect of our lives with, the people that really align with us, or the situations that really align with us. But now it's time to get back to remembering who we are. And who you are never left. Like, any awakening that you ever have where you come back to who you are, it's not like, oh, I'm someone brand new now. It's actually just remembering more of who you were that you forgot. Right? It's actually just coming back to yourself, shedding more layers of who you weren't to get to who you really were on the inside. So really combining this axis of Leo and Aquarius is embracing your authenticity, embracing who you are, weirdness, quirks, and all, right? Like, true, authentic self-expression from the heart. And through that, you will attract the right people to you. You don't need to go out and try to fit into places that you don't belong, because those aren't going to be people that stay in your life anyway if you have to pretend to fit in. If you have to conform or give up your sense of self to feel comfortable there or to feel liked there, then those aren't your people, right? That's not your tribe. So to find your tribe, you have to be you. It's like getting into a relationship. If you're wearing a mask the whole time because you think you're just going to do what the other person wants you to do to get them to like you, then eventually, like when that mask comes off, they're going to meet a whole different person. And they may not feel the same way, right? And so it's like we have to get back to who we really are, right? And realize that, we are already everything that we've been looking for. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about realizing that we're already it. It's not about becoming some future version of ourselves. It's realizing there's no separation. There's no gap between who we are and who we really are and that person, right? Like the idea wouldn't even be there if it wasn't something that we already had within us, right? And so the idea comes from within us. The inspiration comes from within us. So this full moon is about getting back to like what turns your soul on, baby? Like what makes you passionate? What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like, oh, I could just do this forever. I love this. Like get back to like laughter. Get back to play. Get back to your authentic truth. That is the highest vibration you can be in. So much of our lives is spent in some kind of internal conflict or us suppressing how we really feel or us suppressing our truth because of what other people are going to think, what society is going to think, what our job's going to think, what our parents are going to think, what our partner is going to think, what our friends are going to think. And it's like, no, right? That doesn't work. We end up realizing and having some kind of identity crisis, which very well could be a part of this full moon. We end up having some identity crisis because we're like, wait, this is not me. This has not been the path. This isn't the path. This is not aligned with me. I haven't been true to who I really am. I haven't been true to my heart. I haven't been true to my integrity. I haven't honored myself. I haven't been true to my honor. So the curveball energy of this full moon, like I said, is Uranus here that this full moon is squaring. And Uranus does bring in this sense of controversy, uncertainty, a risky energy, right? And I think that this full moon is kind of the start of something that we're going to see on a bigger level this year that we've already been kind of seeing. And that is that this year, I've said it a lot, that this year is like an in-between year where we are ending an old era and stepping into a new one. But for the old era to finish, we literally have to wash it away. We have to dissolve it. It has to dissolve. It has to fall. It has to leave. It has to be released. It has to be let go of. Like we have to make space for the new, right? So that's what's happening right now. That's what this year is all about. We are making space for the new era. Okay, and ending the old one, and the new era really, really starts next year. But as we are in this year, in this in-between space of the old and the new, what this year is really about, those two pillars that I've really noticed and am labeling this year, and I've been also working on a video about this that's super late, but it's okay, is basically that this year is about being spiritual and having faith and letting go, while also having big balls, basically, like while also being ballsy and making big moves and being so damn true to yourself and your independence and your sovereignty and just your sense of self. Like anything that is not aligning with your soul is going to start dissipating or being removed. And that could come with some really powerful endings, some really powerful shifts, some really powerful things getting kind of cleaned out of your life. But either way, this is kind of like, even though this is a full moon and somewhat of an ending because it's a third quarter square to Uranus, it is also showing us that like, hey, I can be myself and I can have friends and fit into society. I can follow what's on my heart and soul. I can be aligned with my soul and my heart and my sense of self and know that I'm different and I'm special, while also, fitting into the world or fitting into the social area of my life in some way, right? And so this full moon, I think, is like really this kind of culmination point where we have been seeing where we haven't quite been ourselves, or we've been trying to fit in, or we've had low vitality. It's shown us where we've been really putting a lot of our energy, and where we need to be more discerning or systematic about how we are using our energy and our focus so we can get back to a sense of vitality within ourselves and remember who we are and remember what we're capable of. Okay? So like I said, this full moon is squaring the planet Uranus. And Uranus, this is a third quarter square, meaning this is the last square of the sun before the sun conjuncts Uranus in a few months from now. So this is ending basically a cycle that has been going on since around Taurus season of last year, 2024. So around end of April and into May, when the sun last, made its conjunction with Uranus. This is the sun square to Uranus, and it just happens to be right around this full moon in Leo. So again, it can bring in some shocking things, but likely it has to do with a story that's already been unfolding for the last year. To do with, being yourself and expressing your independence and, really having this kind of radical self-expression in terms of what you value and what you care about and your sense of security and your sense of safety and your sense of comfort and truly being yourself. Right? And so because of this third quarter square and because of Uranus being involved, it does bring up this kind of topic of rebellion or basically not conforming, like not conforming with something or what's been going on in your life in some area can also, because of that reason, bring up a sense of anxiety, mood changes, like mood swings, kind of game-changing, unpredictable energy, right? And so I really see this as kind of like, I really see this full moon as us stepping out and being true to who we are and allowing that to be known and seen, like us kind of, it's almost like getting on a stage, right? I'll use this metaphor of like we are going to get on a stage for the first time and the spotlight is going to be on us. And do we basically just completely do what we think people want us to do, or do we actually be ourselves? You know what I mean? Do we actually stay authentic to who we are? And by being authentic to who we are, the sun ruling this full moon, being in Aquarius, is showing us that by being authentic to who you are, you win over the people, right? You win over people in your life. And so we become authentic, like we decide to be authentic to who we are. We decide to be ourselves and express our individuality and embody who we really are. But because of that, it causes anxiety and uncertainty because it's like, well, this could be controversial because who I really am or what I really have to say, or like me being totally in my truth is going to be controversial, like because people may not like it, right? Or it may shake shit up, but this may be exactly what we need to step into living a more aligned, authentic, free life. Okay, like I kind of got like the vision the other day of this full moon being like a tree branch snapping, which is why I'm calling it kind of like the breaking point, right? It could be a risky move or a risky thing that you do that puts yourself out there, but that is more authentic to your soul, more authentic to your heart, more authentic to who you are. But it could cause some uncertainty in other areas of your life, or there could be some anxiousness about it. There could be some anxiety about like how it's all gonna go, or it could cause you to want to pivot or make a change or make a shift or something along those lines because you realize, holy shit, I haven't been being true to myself. And you go through like a mini identity crisis or like a mini crisis of another area of your life because you realize what's not aligning, right? So this full moon can bring a sense of restlessness and uncertainty or risk or controversy or even shocking truths and realness and authenticity. You know what I mean? But it's asking us, like, can you be special and be human? Can you be a super powerful, badass soul here on this earth and be human and be down to earth? When we can kind of integrate both of these polarities of Leo and Aquarius, we thrive. And that causes us to awaken, or it liberates us from something that we have been potentially going through, or a situation that we've been going through where we haven't quite felt like we could be completely true to ourselves, or maybe we've even just been on autopilot. Like we've been almost like just plugged into a matrix and like just, yada, 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 yada. And this full moon's coming in to be like, have some balls, like be authentic, be you, like stop going with the herd, or stop like doing what you think other people want you to do. This is the time to be yourself And it could like break us free from some kind of situation that we've been in, or some kind of situation where we've been kind of mentally, drained, or even, energetically drained, or not really felt completely like ourselves. And so this could be a full moon where you are shaking shit up in some area of your life by being yourself, or where a situation outside of you happens and shakes things up because it's realigning you or liberating you or freeing you from a certain situation that's no longer aligned with your path or with your soul or with your heart, right? So it's like, what's on your heart? What's truly on your heart? And where have you been kind of repressing your truth or your authentic self in some way? Where have you not been honoring yourself? Or where have you not been feeling as confident or, as turned on about your life, and why? What's been draining your vitality? And how can you realign with that, right? Like realign with your vitality, realign with the things that turn your soul on, that make you feel good in life, And so that's really what this full moon, I think, is all about. It is shaking us up. It's waking us up. It's giving us a nice little spanking on the ass to be like, yo, is this really aligned with you? This full moon could also be really showing us where we need to be brave with a certain situation in our lives, or where we, it could be very revealing as well. A full moon is always revealing in some way, shape, or form. And the moon is, our inner world, our emotional world. So with the full moon being in the sign of Leo, it's like, hey, where do we need to realign with, these Leo traits in our lives on an internal level? Where do we need to be more authentic on an internal level? Like, this is realigning us with an internal feeling of authenticity, courage, confidence, bravery. And it is showing us potentially some truths in our lives of where we haven't quite felt this way, or we haven't quite been aligned, or we've been just going along with things to some degree, right? And so, like I said, this full moon could definitely bring in some truths, some shocks. I feel overall it could definitely, this full moon's definitely bringing in some kind of change or some kind of curveball energy. But I really feel like overall it is helping to free us or liberate us in some way. So we change the way that we've been doing things, right? We see what we've been embodying and how that's not working, or, we wake up to something in our lives that has not been going in a way that feels aligned or that feels authentic to who we are, And so that is what I'm seeing for this particular full moon in Leo. It's going to be very interesting. Let me know if you guys are seeing these topics in your lives or in the world or whatever, where you guys are noticing these topics. I'd really love to hear your feedback. Comment down below, badass alien, if you watched until this point. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we are going to briefly go over what this means for your rising sign. If you would like more about all of this, or more about what this month has in store for you, make sure that you watch my last video, my February horoscopes video, where I went over horoscopes for all 12 rising signs, so you can see what this month has in store for you and the bigger kind of story going on this month for you. Okay, so alrighty, let's get into it. Alrighty, starting with you, my lovely fellow Leo risings. Welcome. Happy full moon, boo. I hope you guys are feeling this. I hope it's giving you a lot more energy, a lot more vitality. I really hope that it's coming in hot for you. And so this full moon in particular is a really interesting one. This time of year always kind of comes in with this full moon and really just reminds us of who we are, gives us that kind of spark, that inspiration, that realignment internally with who we are and, our self-expression and our individuality, our identity, our confidence, all of that. And so this full moon, obviously being in the first house, is very much about us, the self, the identity, the appearance, like the style, our sense of self-expression and, our sense of authenticity and how we are moving about our lives and going about things in the world, etc. And so with that being said, though, we've been very potentially focused on other people or, our social lives or our relationships or our close relationships in our lives. And we've likely been giving a lot of energy to that area of our lives and a lot of energy to things kind of outside of us that don't really have much to do with us other than like it's just part of our lives, or they're close relationships in our lives, etc. So this full moon is coming back to say, hey, remember yourself. Remember to take care of yourself too. Remember to embrace your own sense of authenticity. Remember to embrace your own sense of individuality. Like, remember to be you, right? Like, remember yourself here, right? Like, don't forget who you are. Don't forget yourself, right? Now, this full moon, though, is squaring Uranus in our 10th house. So some of these revelations, or some of these things that this full moon could be bringing up, it could be bringing up a lot of emotions. It could be bringing up a lot of signs. It could be revealing some things to us. Some of these things may cause some controversy or some uncertainty or some nervousness or some unpredictability or even a breaking point or awakening, especially in terms of self and other in our lives, so ourselves and our relationships, but also our future and what we want out of our lives, our long-term goals, our vision for the future. You know, so this full moon is like really like, hey, are you on the right track here? Right? Not only are you being yourself, not only do you need to realign with self, but what do these revelations, what do these big aha moments or these big epiphanies or these big, you know, truth bombs or this realignment mean for your future or your relationships or the rest of your life, right? And so some of these things could definitely be coming up here. Let me know down below as a fellow Leo rising, what you are noticing come up though. I really, really want to hear your guys' feedback and see what you guys got going on here and what you're noticing come up. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so also comment down below, sexy Leo rising, if you are still here, by the way. And if you missed the beginning, you definitely need to go back and watch that because you're likely going to relate to it, since all of it is about you. And I'm also a Leo rising, so it's coming from my perspective. So definitely go back and watch that. And then also, if you missed your February horoscopes for the month, check out that video after this one. I went a lot more in depth in there about this month and this particular full moon. So, okay, moving on to Virgo risings, darling. For Virgo risings, this full moon's very interesting for you as a Virgo rising, and I'd really love to hear down below how you guys are feeling this, because this is in your 12th house, and the 12th house is very subconscious, hidden, distant, detached. This could definitely be a time where life is pushing you, or something is highlighting the need for space, the need for distance, the need to kind of close yourself off and really focus on you and your own sense of truth, worth, your own sense of value, your own sense of authenticity, what's on your heart. This could definitely be a time where you are also maybe going through some endings or some topics of closure from the past, or even, you know, a releasing or a letting go of certain things as well with the full moon in your 12th. Either way, this is definitely bringing something in to do with something behind the scenes in your life, or something that is kind of potentially bringing your focus out of your day-to-day life to integrate something. Okay, because, you know, your focus has been on with the sun moving through your 6th house and all of the stuff happening in your 7th house, and, you know, also your chart ruler moving through your 6th house. A lot of your focus has been on your work, health, and day-to-day routines, and, you know, relationships with other people as well, and also potentially children, because your 5th house is also ruled by Saturn, and Saturn's and Pisces in your 7th. So there's been a lot of focus here, but the full moon in your 12th in the sign of Leo is like, hey, don't forget your hidden sense of power or confidence or worthiness. Maybe you've kind of neglected yourself, or maybe you've been caught in some self-sabotaging patterns or habits, and this full moon could really be waking you up to that, or breaking you free from that, or breaking you out of that in some way. It could definitely cause some shifts, changes, shakeups, uncertainty in, you know, terms of the way that you see the world, your belief systems, educational pursuits, travel pursuits with Uranus in your 9th, like, you know, how you see your worth and meaning in life, and, you know, the value in, you know, your, you know, basically your life, and all of that, your philosophies on life. And so these things could be coming up as well. So let me know down below, Virgo, what you are noticing. If you missed the beginning, you're missing out on a lot. So definitely go back and watch that. But also, if you missed your February horoscope, I went over all the horoscopes in my last video before this one. So if you'd like to go even deeper and figure out what like the deeper story going on this month here is for you, definitely go check that out after this. Okay, so comment sexy Virgo rising down below if you watched until this point, and we are going to move on to Libra risings. So for Libra risings, this full moon is happening in your 11th house. And so I really feel like for you guys as like Libra risings, this is definitely about putting yourself in the spotlight, or this full moon is potentially revealing something about, your social situations in your life. This really does look almost like a popularity contest to me, or, very high schoolish to me for you guys as a Libra rising. But either way, this is like, where do you maybe seek fitting in or validation in your social life? And this full moon is coming out to say, no, just be your authentic self, express yourself freely, express yourself how you want to, embody who you really are. Full moons in the 11th house can also bring up a lot of topics of like social events, social gatherings, networking, marketing, social media, gaining an audience or following on social media, acquaintances, friends, things like this, anything really social. And so this full moon is highlighting this area of your life because there's something that you're meant to realign with here on more of an authentic level and integrate into your being. Are your friends really, or are your social, is your social life really aligned with your heart's desires, your interests, your passions, the things that you really desire and want out of life? Are the people around you really aligned with all of that? And these revelations could even be causing some shakeups or some twists, turns, unexpected events or uncertainty, or even, some truth or something along those lines to do with energetic exchanges. And that could be financial, that could be just, resource wise, or energetic, like I said. So the give and take with other people, right? Agreements that you have with other people, what you gain from these connections or what they gain from you. It could cause some uncertainty in this area or bring in this area somehow. But either way, I think this is like you potentially, like a lot of the metaphors I used in the first half of this video, I think would really relate to you as a Libra rising, and just how this is hitting your chart. It's like, do you be yourself even though that could cause some controversy or some shakeups or some risk? Or do you try to just do what you think people want to do to fit in, or whatever the case may be? This could also be you seeing some people's true colors, or no longer aligning with a certain group of friends, different things like that. So let me know down below, Libra risings, how you're seeing this come up. I'm really interested to see how this is playing out for you guys. So Libra rising, comment down below, sexy Libra rising, if you watched. And then also, if you missed the first half of this video, you're really missing out. Go watch that. You're gonna relate to it. And then also, if you want a deeper kind of input on what is going on this month for you, and you haven't seen my last video, the February horoscopes video, go watch that because I went in a lot deeper in that video. Okay, so moving on to Scorpio risings. This full moon is happening in your 10th house of your career, your life direction, your long-term goals, and your reputation, your public image, your vision for the future, your direction of the future, right? Your legacy, how you achieve influence or honor, or how you embody those things in the world or in your public life in some way, right? Like you've been really focused on maybe like hibernating or your home, family, personal life this month, and there's been a large focus there, and you've maybe had to kind of give, more of yourself to that area. And so, but now with this full moon happening here, there could be something coming to a close or a culmination point in your career, or this could be realigning you with a sense of authenticity, or a sense of truth, or a sense of courage or bravery or integrity or confidence or passion, in your career in some way. But that could also be causing some uncertainty, some changes, some anxiety, or something unexpected or controversial or something risky in your relationships. So this could also be a massive breaking point for you in some way, where it's like you've felt kind of caught in the middle of your home life or your personal life versus your career or public life, or your past or your future or some way. And so this is like potentially you really making a statement and rolling the dice here, even if that means other people aren't going to like it, or you lose certain connections, or you piss off certain relationships in your life. Something like that. Either way, whatever this is, it's very kind of liberating, and it's pushing you to the spotlight in some way, or pushing you to be, to really in some way put a spotlight on what's on your heart, or what you truly desire, or who you truly are, or being more authentic, or putting a spotlight on your sense of courage or confidence or authority in some way, right? In your career or in your public life or in your goals, okay? And so definitely let me know down below, Scorpio Risings, what you guys are noticing come up for this. I'd really love to hear your feedback. And if you missed the beginning, definitely go back and watch that. Also, comment down below, Sexy Scorpio Rising, if you watched your full horoscope here. And if you would like a deeper summary of what's going on this month for you, including this full moon and more. If you missed my last video, I really went deep for the horoscopes for each sign for the month of February. So go back and watch that. And yeah, moving on to Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius risings, this full moon is in your 9th house, okay? So full moon in your 9th is really going to highlight or reveal or realign you with certain ideologies, certain ways of seeing things, certain perspectives. Like, what is the meaning and purpose of your life? Where do you feel aligned with that meaning and purpose in your life, or have you felt aligned with that? It's kind of, you know, also a culmination point of maybe a focus that, like, you've been more focused maybe on your day-to-day life, your surroundings, your environment, your community, your town, you know, the things going on around you. And this full moon is saying, hey, like, there's other bigger things as well. There's bigger things than this. Don't forget, right? And so this full moon could be bringing in some of that energy as well. It could also be some kind of culmination point to do with education, travel, you know, any kind of learning pursuits or teaching pursuits, or, you know, whatever the case may be there. And so, but in some way, this full moon is bringing in some kind of uncertainty, shakeups, you know, kind of radical truth or awakenings, or revealing something in terms of your work, health, and day-to-day routines as well. That area of life is being pulled into this with this full moon squaring Uranus there in your 6th. And so this is really like, you know, I think a lot of the times with the 6th and 9th as well, it's like, do your ideologies, do your beliefs about the world, or what, you know, your integrity, your morals, your values, your ethics, does it really match, you know, your life, your lifestyle, your job, your responsibilities, your health, your day-to-day routines, you know, in some way. And so some of that could be coming in like conflicts of interest. And it's like, okay, like, I have to integrate all this, or I am at this breaking point where I can't keep going the way that I've been going, or my lifestyle needs to change, or I need to change the way I've been doing things to embody more of my truth, or more of my integrity, or more of my ideals, or whatever the case may be, right? And so let me know down below, Sagittarius risings, how that's playing out for you. I'm genuinely curious and interested to see how this full moon is playing out for you. Also, comment down below, Sexy Sagittarius rising, if you watched your whole horoscope here. And if you missed the beginning, you're missing out on a lot. It can give you a lot more deeper context into this full moon and a lot of other themes to watch for. And then if you want even more of a deeper summary on your month, make sure to check out my last video for the February horoscopes. Okay, so you can see the deeper summary and story of what's going on this month for you here. Okay, so moving on to Capricorn risings. For Capricorn risings, this full moon's happening in your 8th house. So this is definitely bringing in some potentially intense drama to do with the give and the take, or the give and the receiving with other people in your life. This could be financial situations, investments, debt, taxes, agreements, or contracts with other people in some way, shape, or form. This could be, you know, things to do with, like, you know, personally, like, you know, having courage or confidence, or being authentic about something, or, you know, being potentially authority as well, you know, with the moon being in Leo. But this full moon is squaring Uranus in your 5th house. And so this could be causing some kind of uncertainty, shakeups, or, you know, something that needs to change in terms of your 5th house area. So matters of the heart, pleasure, entertainment, children, dating, love, you know, these topics could be coming in with this full moon as well. And so the way I could see, like, one of the ways I could see this happening is, you know, you finally break free of some kind of potentially unfair agreement or contract with another person, or with some kind of authority figure or whatever. But because of that, you you know, you speak your truth and you do what feels authentic and aligned with you. But because of that, it does cause some shakeups in how you treat yourself or how you entertain yourself, you know, in some way, or how you seek pleasure. Like maybe you can't go shopping as much as you did before, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Or maybe there's like a you know, fun event now that you have to cancel, or like whatever, right? Or you know, for some of you, this could even bring in topics of child support, with the 8th house and the 5th house kind of being activated here and highlighted here. So that could be something as well. So definitely let me know down below, Capricorn Risings, what you are noticing come up. I'm genuinely curious, and I would really love to hear what situations are coming up for you for this full moon. And also comment down below, sexy Capricorn Rising, because you are. And if you missed the first part of this video, go back and watch it for even more context into this full moon and what this full moon is, you know, the story of this full moon that I think is really coming in here. And then also, if you would like a deeper summary into your horoscope for the month of February, including this full moon and everything else, make sure to watch my last video if you haven't, for the February horoscopes for this month. Okay, so moving on to Aquarius Rising. So I'm really curious, as an Aquarius Rising, how this full moon is playing out for you guys. You guys are my opposite rising sign. I'm a Leo rising, so I'm really curious to see how this is playing out for you guys. But I would say, astrologically speaking, with your full moon in the 7th, there's a culmination point, breaking point, ending, or something really being revealed here regarding your relationships, or a certain relationship, or other people in your life in some way, and what they need, or what they want, or how they need to be validated. You know, I think security needs and you know, relational needs regarding validation, or feeling seen, or confidence, or self-expression, or identity and relationships could be really big topics for you guys as an Aquarius rising here. Also, potentially, you know, you could be, I think a lot of you with this full moon, because this full moon is reflecting back the sun's light and the sun is in your 1st house, something going on in your relationships, or even your relationships themselves, could be reflecting something back to you about yourself. Okay, so they could be kind of exposing something to you about yourself, or you know, in some ways, if this is more of a, you know, really positive and constructive full moon for some of you, this could even be like a relationship being very supportive, or somebody in your life being very supportive and helping remind you of who you really are, or you doing that for them in some way. But whatever this full moon is revealing and bringing up could definitely cause some kind of shakeup, or some kind of controversy in terms of your 4th house, okay, of home, family, personal, private life, living situation. Okay, so for some of you, this could be like maybe a roommate all of a sudden is like, you know what, I feel like I just don't fit in here, or I feel unseen somehow in this situation, and I am going to do what's best for me, and I've got to move out, or whatever. You know, that's just like one example. But either way, there's some kind of uncertainty that this full moon could be triggering in terms of your home and family life, or even just something unexpected, or, you know, like that could come up, or just, you know, you even getting to your own breaking point and being like, okay, like I'm going to change something, you know, or I'm going to make some changes in these areas. So let me know down below, Aquarius Rising, what you guys are noticing come up. I'd really love to hear your feedback and what's going on for you guys. So, okay, also comment down below, sexy Aquarius Rising, and if you missed the beginning, you're missing out, so go watch that. Okay, Pisces Risings, this full moon for you is happening in your 5th house of, or no, I'm sorry, your 6th house of your work, health, and day-to-day routines. And so this definitely could be you realizing something about your work. Like for some of you, this could be an authority figure, or you know, needing to express yourself very authentically or from your heart in the workspace, or with coworkers, or, you know, dealing with authority in that space in some way. Or this could be you really kind of taking things by the horns and being like, you know what, I'm going to make a big move, or be very confident here, you know. I'm going to express my true authenticity, or my true self-confidence, or, you know, something along those lines. And in terms of your work, or this could be even you realigning with a health routine, or your vitality in some way, something that's authentic to you, or like a practice, you know, a certain practice or method to do with your health in some way that is more authentic to you. But this full moon is squaring Uranus. So this could bring in some shakeup, some uncertainty, or some randomness or unexpected events that happen in your local environment, your town, your community, your neighborhood, your city, or with communication in some way, or potentially extended family, short trips, siblings, something like that could come up here with this as well. So let me know down below, Pisces Risings, what you guys are noticing come up at this time. I'd really love to hear your feedback as always. And if you missed the beginning, you're really missing out. It goes over a lot more context for this full moon. And comment down below, sexy Pisces Rising, if you watched your whole horoscope. Okay, moving on to Aries Rising. So this full moon for you as an Aries Rising is happening in your 5th house of children, fun, recreation, dating, romance, matters of the heart. All of that would normally be a great full moon for this week with it being Valentine's Day, but with it squaring Uranus, there could be some curveballs and some unexpected activity or situations, or you could do something unexpected with money or resources or assets, something along those lines that could be somewhat uncertain or be somewhat risky or be somewhat controversial, okay? Somehow these topics are really involved here, with this focus that's been on your 11th house of friends and other people and your social life and your social network and all of that. Right now it's like, okay, but what do you really love? Like, where is your heart at? What sets your soul on fire? Or what's going on with your children? Or, is your children going through a situation at school or socially or something like that, that ends up like bringing up some unexpected financial thing that you have to pay for, or are you getting involved in some kind of really big passion or hobby or whatever and have kind of met a community around it, and now you are, kind of anticipating, spending some money or changing some things up financially, like something like that could be going on here. Either way, those are just some examples, but let me know down below, Aries Risings, what you guys are noticing happening. And if you missed the beginning, you're missing out on a lot. So go back and watch that for even more context, as always. And comment down below, sexy Aries Rising, if you are still here. I appreciate you. Okay, so moving on to Taurus Risings. Taurus Risings, this full moon for you is happening in your 4th house of home, family, or private life. What is going on behind the scenes, also your past, potentially your childhood. So with a full moon here, there could be a kind of spotlight shining on these matters, this area of your life, for you to kind of bring your focus off your career or the world or your goals or, the worldly endeavors or your public life or reputation or whatever that you've been focused on, and bring it back down to your home life or your children or your private life or, what's going on there, and kind of be more in tune with all of that, right? To some degree. But you could be somewhat resistant to this at first in some way with Uranus and your sign squaring this full moon. This full moon could even bring up something where it's like you need to change, or you need to change the way you've been going about something, where it's, triggering a shift within you. To realize that, like, I've been being one way in my career and another way maybe in my private life. Maybe I need to bring more of my authenticity to the table, or maybe I need to bring more more of my focus to my private life or personal life or family, etc. So let me know down below, Taurus Risings, what you are noticing coming up around this time. I really appreciate you guys. And if you missed the first part of this video, you are missing out. Comment down below, sexy Taurus Rising, because you are. And we are going to move on to Gemini Rising. So for Gemini Risings, this full moon's happening in your 3rd house. So this is an interesting place, this could be a lot of different things: short travels, extended family, siblings, your neighborhood, your local environment, what's going on in your community, town, what's going on around you, and where you find happiness in your day-to-day life, where you find passion or courage or confidence or play or entertainment in your day-to-day life. This could even be like some event you're going to around you in some way, something like that. But either way, it's bringing you back down to earth, bringing you back down to focus on what's going on around you or what's going on in your environment, town, city, etc. But it is squaring Uranus, so in your 12th house. So this could be some unexpected hidden truths that are revealed, or some unexpected things that are revealed to you to some degree. But either way, the 3rd and 9th house isn't too crazy. So I think if anything, you could be feeling more creative or more self-expressive around with your opinions around this time, or more involved in your local environment in some way. But it could also just be showing you some truths or revealing to you some truths in some way as well. Comment down below, sexy Gemini rising, because you are. And if you missed the first part of this video, go back and watch that. Okay, so Cancer risings, last but not least, this full moon for you is in your 6th house. So this is what you value, what you need, what you want, what are you passionate about, your finances, what you own, your assets, you know, the things that you that are important to you, that you deeply value, that hold some kind of honor in your life, or that you have pride in some way. And so this full moon could be some kind of culmination point, or something being revealed to you in this area about what's important to you, what's special to you. Also, you know, revealing kind of this axis of Leo Aquarius, of where you give, where you receive, where you give, and, you know, where you let go relationships with other people, and what those relationships bring in, or what you share with those relationships, what you get from those relationships. And also this is bringing in some kind of shift or higher truth, or some kind of random or unexpected event to do with your friends as well, or your social life, with this squaring Uranus in your 11th. So other people, organizations, your network, your friends, or something social could be triggered around the time of this full moon, to kind of either liberate you, set you free, or send you on more of an authentic path to what you truly value. So let me know down below, Cancer, if that resonates. I'm really anxious to hear your feedback, and would love to know how this is affecting you guys. Genuinely curious, so let me know, and comment down below, sexy Cancer rising, because you are. If you missed the first part of this video, go back and watch it. And if you'd like an even deeper summary for this month for you, make sure to check out my last video for the February horoscope. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.